like how they say sometimes, you know, he's a thug.
Right.
Right. I think it's something. I think it's something like that. I vaguely remember. All right, vaguely remember. I'm going to ask the general again. It may not be that. I may be confusing it with something else.
Okay.
Right, but the Tishbite is not like he was another nation. I think it had to do with his status in where else? Gilead, not Gilead.
Right. Okay.
Right, based on where he, you know, where he was. All right.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shabakatam.
Yeah, you have some Shabbat. Yeah, so it's more that situation than anything else.
Okay.
It's more that situation than anything else.
And it's like the moon and the sun.
Okay, where is that? What scripture is that again?
That's Isaiah 24 and 23. Yeah. I could find it here. Yeah, I'm slack. Let me read it.
1 second. Let me catch up with you. $24, you say, right?
Okay.
All right. You gonna read a few verses up?
Okay.
Start at I would say start at 21.
Okay. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, right? And they shall be gathered together.
What does that mean?
Well, the Lord shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, meaning the mighty men, the high men, the people that govern, you know, people in right? That are on high, and the kings of the earth, the kings that is on the earth, upon the earth, meaning the kings that rule the planet Earth, kings that rule,
right?
And I said on the earth upon, right?
So what is he saying?
He's saying that he will punish them. The Lord is saying he will punish them, right?
Right. So, okay, so the day is coming when this earth is going to get judged, right? He's going to judge all the leaders of the earth right now, the people who are in charge of the world, in charge of the earth, the powerful families, the powerful governments, and those kings of those kingdoms, those kings, the king of America, the king of Russia, the king of, you know, Iran, the Middle East, the king of Europe, you understand? Recently, I read a story where Putin, I think it's a Yahoo story, Putin said if anybody attack Russia, he gonna nuke the whole world. He got enough nuclear missiles, he gonna just attack the world. He's not figuring out who did it. He's like, you hit one of mine, I'm hitting one of every one of y'all niggas. You get the point? So it's like the earth is going to be judged. The days is coming when the return of the Lord is going to come and the earth will be judged. You understand?
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Verse 22. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and they shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days they shall be visited.
And after many days they shall be visited. Meaning they're going to fall from power and going to be, you know, put in a position of being low. You understand? They're going to be in a lower state, a low position. You get me?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Right. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously.
Right? So now, what is that talking about?
Well,
1 second. Hold on 1 second. Shalom, you hear me?
Yes, a lot. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Hold on 1 second. What you say your name was again, Hugo?
Yes, Hugo.
Hugo. All right, no problem. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm finishing off this question, then I'm gonna get to you. All right.
All right, sounds good.
All right, just hold on. I'm gonna put you on. I'm gonna put your phone on mute so we don't hear the feedback.
Okay.
All right, but you're on speakerphone anyway, and I'll let you know when to unmute your phone and then ask your question. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right, go ahead, Al.
yeah, so like, well, when it says, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion, the Lord of hosts is like, and when they say Lord of hosts, meaning an army, shall reign in Mount Zion.
So who we talking about?
His children, the Israelites.
Who is the Lord of hosts?
The Most High, when they say the Lord of hosts, the Most High and his angels.
Exactly, the Lord of hosts, the Lord of all armies, the Master of armies, the Most High power. Now he will rule, and he's going to rule from Zion, meaning he's going to set up his government there. That's where he's going to be operating from, out of Zion.
Come on.
Right?
And in Jerusalem, right? Mount Zion is a hill in Jerusalem, right? And in Jerusalem.
Not a hill, but it's an actual mountain.
And before his ancients gloriously, meaning the people in the past, the prophets in the past, when they said ancients gloriously, is that what you mean?
It's like he's going to rule before everybody who knew the ancients. For us will be the ancients, the ones who already established, and everybody else around. He will rule before them gloriously, meaning all in heaven with the 24 elders, the beast. He gonna rule in glory. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Now the Lord gets to rule in all his glory. You get the point?
Okay.
All right, so now go back up to the top. Let me hear what you had to say about the sun and stuff like that. Sun and the moon.
Okay. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem before his ancients gloriously.
All right, so what are we talking about?
Is the moon and the sun the children of Israel? Is it talking about the children of Israel?
Why would we be ashamed?
We shall be ashamed because like the curses that the Lord is going to put on us.
Typically in the scriptures, the sun and the moon outside of Genesis and outside of any situation where it's specifically talking about that star in the sky or that planet in the sky, when it's used like this, it's typically talking about wisdom and knowledge. right? Wisdom and knowledge, wisdom and understanding, the sun and the moon. You understand? So now it's okay. In that day, all the wisdom and knowledge of this world is going to be nothing. You understand? Read it again from the top.
Isaiah chapter 24, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion.
Right?
And
if the moon and the sun represent wisdom and understanding, or wisdom and knowledge, the moon being confounded means what?
It's like a confounded, meaning confused.
All right, why? Why?
Because we will not have any understanding at all, so we're confused. We don't understand nothing at all.
Okay. Think about today, right? Think about today. What is the knowledge of today?
The knowledge of today is white people's education.
All right. That's the perfect answer. Right? I was gonna say, the white man's science. White man's science rules, right? His DNA, his, historical research. His science is what everybody lives by, right? In that day, his science is going to be confounded. His understanding, his way of doing things is going to be confounded. It's going to be ashamed. Or what's another way of saying ashamed? What's another way of saying ashamed?
It's like naked.
Yes, but not in this context.
Embarrassed.
Embarrassed. His knowledge is going to be embarrassed. What's another way of saying ashamed or embarrassed? Put to shame. Right? Put to shame. Is not everything about his wisdom is going to be put to shame. You understand?
Okay.
Because Lord's wisdom is real wisdom. The Lord's knowledge is real knowledge. The Lord's, and more importantly, the Lord's power is real power. And that's the difference between our God and the gods of the heathens. The gods of the heathens are logical, and you could rationalize things. Our God is absolutely illogical to this world. What do I mean by that? Logically speaking, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, logically speaking, right? Take the Bible out of it, take the fact that we Israelites out of it. Are we supposed to be, will we be in charge of this world? Take the Bible out of it, take everything you've learned about being an Israelite out of it. Logically speaking, would we be in charge of this world?
Salakia.
Go ahead.
La'ah.
Explain.
We will not be in charge of the world because we do not have knowledge and power to be in charge.
That's the simplest, best way to put it. You understand? Logically speaking, we would be prey to everybody just like we are right now. And nobody would cry about it because the rules of this world say only the strong survive. You understand? And as a people, we are the weakest in the world. The white man is over the top of us with his nation. the Japanese, the Chinese, the East Indians, the Africans are over us. You get the point? And it's competition. The fastest win, the strongest win, the weakest lose. What makes us different is that we are the Lord's children. We belong to him. And he gives us power to overcome in a situation where we should not overcome, where we should not survive. You get the point? It's only because of the Lord we are not absolutely, totally destroyed. What precept am I talking about? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because we're meek.
What do you mean?
Is that when it said the meek? I'm paraphrasing. The meek shall rule.
The meek shall rule. That's one. But that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, not the one kind.
What am I talking about?
The Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
You are talking about I guess in today's world we can say, quote unquote, realistically that we're not that one would think that we would not rule, and that we don't even think we would rule, and that because we're the Lord's children that we would have, because we are the Lord's children, we will rule.
That's the explanation. That's the explanation I'm giving you. Right? Like the only reason that we are surviving today is because of the Lord. And the only reason we are going to be put on top, it's because of the Lord. Like without the Lord, we would never be on top. And that's why every revolution that was without the Lord has failed. You understand? Because the glory cannot go to man. You understand? The glory to get out of captivity cannot go to a man. It cannot go to the will of man, the power of man. It has to be by the power of the Lord. You get the point? It has to be by the power of the Lord. And brother, it's going to take the power of the Lord to defeat the king of this world, or the kings of this world, right? And the number one king of this world is the white man. You get the point? The number one king of this world is the white man. And to defeat him, it's going to take a supernatural power. It's going to take an absolutely supernatural power, because he is the biggest, baddest thing on the planet Earth with his moon and sun, with his wisdom and knowledge. With his wisdom and knowledge, his technology, his science, you're not beating the white man. You understand? Like you're not beating him. You get the point? You're not beating it. White man could push a button now and blow everybody's cell phone up. Everybody's phone just blow up in the face and kill everybody. You get the point? He turned the camera on your TV and watch you watching the TV. You know, people had a saying long ago where you fall asleep in front of the TV is like the TV watching you not watching the TV, right? Well, today, because of the white man's sun and moon, his wisdom and knowledge, the TV could literally watch you. You understand? So it's going to take a supernatural power to put that to shame, to put, you know, his stealth bombers to shame, to put his ICBM missiles to shame, to put all his weapons and his technology to shame. All right? Give me in the Apocrypha 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, and start at 32. Quickly, all right? 2nd Ezra chapter 13. In fact, you're going to start at 29.
Got one car. 2nd Esdras, chapter 13 and verse 29. Behold, the days come when the Most High will bring to deliver them that are upon the earth, And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth.
Stop right there. Explain that for me real quick.
So like the Most High will come to deliver the Israelites,
Right.
which are upon the earth.
Uh-huh.
And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth, meaning the other nations.
So,
Or actually all of us, including us.
hell no, I ain't gonna be shocked. I'm gonna be anticipating shit. I might be shocked at the time,
God
right? Lord will, I'm alive to see it. I might be shocked at the time he come, like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting him today. But surely I'm not going to be shocked at the sky being blackened by Negroes. At the sky being blackened by an army that slaughtering the white man, slaughtering the Africans, slaughtering the Russians, slaughtering the Italians. I'm not going to be shocked by chariots and loud ram's horn blowing. You see that horn the brothers blow for the feast days? You know the scriptures say the trump shall sound. I mean there's going to be a loud sound, a loud trumpet sound blowing. And it's going to be death and destruction. You think I'm going to be shocked? You think I'm going to be running around screaming, oh my God, oh my God.
God won't come.
You see that? That was crazy. Oh my God. And crying like white people. What is happening? What is happening to me? No, I ain't going to be shocked. But he's going to come to the astonishment of other people. You know, guess why they're going to be shocked?
So like, because the first time they're seeing true power.
You close. You close. Is it the first time they're seeing ships in the sky, raining down fire and brimstone?
La.
So what are they going to be seeing for the first time?
So like,
come on.
The Most High? The power of the Most High?
You're not hitting the nail on the head.
So like,
go ahead.
Is the first time they'll see black people with power?
First time they're gonna see a nigger killing everybody and nobody can kill him. Because usually the nigger have the gun and then cops show up and blow everybody away, right? And then they're talking to, he's down. All right, I got him. Don't worry about it. Stay down. That's how it usually goes, right?
Right.
Right. Now imagine a man come out the sky and all your planes fall out the sky. And he just does this with his hands. And people just burst in half. You understand? And he just points and angels just appear and just rip people apart. Just rip them apart. And bombs going off everywhere. You understand? And then there's chariots pulling people up into the chariots to hide us away, as it says in Jeremiah, to hide us away for a little while, to protect us from his indignation. Who is going to be shocked that niggers is getting saved? That spicks and wetbacks and all the illegal immigrants is getting saved? Who's going to be shocked? You? Huh? Who's going to be amazed? Who's going to be astonished that is only blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians not going to be killed? Well, some of us are.
Salakia.
But salvation is for us. Who's going to be astonished at that?
Salakia.
Go ahead.
The heathens.
The heathen. See, Apu in 7-Eleven. Come and have a look inside. Give me 5 cents. That nigga going to be shocked. The Chinese man eyes is gonna be this wide open. For the first time, it's like he like, how you doing? Hurry up and buy. That nigga eye gonna open big like a damn tire on that day. He's gonna be shocked. He's gonna be shocked that a nigga is ruling. I can't finish talk about Black Panther much. Everybody was shocked that Killmonger make it back to Wakanda and take the throne. They were so shocked they were sick. That's how people's going to be when niggas rule. They're gonna be sick that this thing is in charge. Keep reading quickly.
Verse 31.
Uh-huh.
And one shall undertake to fight against another.
Uh-huh.
One city against another.
Uh-huh.
One place against another.
Mm-hmm.
One people against.
What is this talking about?
The heathen nations fighting one another.
Otherwise known as what? Quickly, come on with it.
Salaki Armageddon.
Give it a more common name.
World War III.
World War III, otherwise known as World War III. One of them, and they're gonna undertake to fight another. One nation against another, one army against another. Your precepts for that is Matthew 24. Keep going.
One people against another, and one realm against another.
Right, one people against another, one realm against another. Keep going.
Verse 32. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man.
Read it one more time again from the top.
And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending.
Now, somebody bring this home for me. Somebody who is in class tonight. Show me you're here. Show me you're here. Bring this home for me. If you need them to read it again, read it one more time, nice and loud.
Kadawan Khan. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending.
Come on.
Salaki.
Come on.
And then the scripture shall be fulfilled.
Okay, you're not explaining it. You just you adding on. You're putting, ketchup and mustard on. You're putting ketchup and mustard on the hot dog. I want to know what's in the hot dog. I want to know what it's made of. I want to know about the flour and the sugar and the yeast and how much you had to bake the bread at. I want to know what kind of hot dog again. If it's beef franks, if it's Hebrew kosher franks, explain it. Don't put nothing on top of it.
And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, meaning the prophecy shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I showed thee before, meaning what was written in the scriptures.
What was written where?
Pardon?
What was written where?
What was written aforetime for our learning.
Okay, all right, I'll take that. Go ahead.
And then shall my son, being Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending.
All right. What are the signs of the return of the Lord? That's what he said, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before. What signs?
So like the signs would be like Matthew 24, rumors of wars.
Okay, so Matthew 24. You're right. Matthew 24, rumors of war. But this is, what book is this?
This is Ezra, the Apocrypha in it.
Which one came first? Come on, Akim. Quickly, quickly. I ain't got time. Quickly.
So like we're just talking on the Old Testament.
Which book is first between 2nd Ezra and Matthew?
So like a 2nd Ezra.
So you mean to tell me 2nd Ezra is talking about Christ and talking about the prophecy that would come in Matthew? I think it probably flying over your head. If anybody ever questions you that Christ was in the Old Testament, you could pull the scripture. The scripture prophesies him. Whom thou sawest as a man ascending. What is that talking about?
Salakia, Christ coming for his people?
No. Saw as a man ascending, going up.
Salakia, after the crucifixion, when he ascended?
Describe it. It's in Acts, the first chapter. It says he has a cloud. He went into a cloud. He ascended into a cloud. From your chariot precepts, you know it's a chariot of the Lord. So the book 2nd Ezra is prophesying what you would see about Christ and that he is the one who is returning. That's why everybody going to be astonished. You understand? Y'all understand it now?
Okay.
This is going to confound the white man's science. It's going to confound his technology. It's going to confound, listen, it's going to confound the entire earth seeing this event happen. And this event is happening for the salvation of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians only. Only. This is our salvation, nobody else. Now, with that said, we're going to pause right here. We're going to come back to this and finish this off. We had someone who called the school and asked a question. And I thought it would be good that the question get asked in the class, not just for the learning of for our learning and our full edification, but for any brother or sister who is not in the UPK, who empathizes and sympathizes with heathens, right? Because of what they go through. All right. So now, Hugo, are you there? Okay, no sweat. This is a guy called Hugo. Hugo, just introduce yourself.
Okay, guys, my name is Hugo. I actually live in Maryland. I'm actually calling tonight to find out some information to see if I am a Hebrew Israelite, and if I'm not, I'm looking to find out information of who I am. So this call doesn't teach you guys anything. This would be basically to learn some information.
Okay, so are you all hearing him? Can you all hear? Okay, so Hugo, he called the school. He wasn't sure who he was. Hugo, you said according to everything you found out that you were Nigerian, correct?
Yes, I'm Nigerian. I have a tribe called Igbo.
Okay. All right, so he is Nigerian as far as he knows. So as far as you know, have any of your people went into slavery?
As far as I know, my people did go to slavery. They were brought into captivity in the 15th century.
Where?
All over the United States, Georgia, California as well, and Missouri.
Okay, so how are you Nigerian?
I'm Nigerian because my father's Nigerian. His dad's Nigerian as well. His dad's Nigerian.
So your four parents are Nigerian. They came from Nigeria.
Yes.
So then how are you? How are Nigerians the same as the slaves who went into captivity?
Because Nigerians were actually took from Nigeria to town, this small town, were brought to the United States. And after slavery got lost in 1812, my family members went back to Nigeria, going back. So some people were actually born in the United States here.
Mm-hmm.
And then some went back after a while.
And when did they go back?
They went back, I would say, 1920s, 1910s.
And who did they go back with?
With their family. I'm not sure in details, but I know they went back for sure.
Okay, so they did not go back with like Charles Taylor to Liberia or Marcus Garvey. They went back on their own.
With the Marcus Garvey movie, yeah, Marcus Garvey, that's what it was.
Okay, so are you saying for a fact that your people, your father went back with Marcus Garvey?
For a fact, my father's ancestors, father's went back with Marcus Garvey.
Okay. And how are you proving this? How can you prove this?
I would just say it's a word of mouth. My father told me, his dad told him, and that spirit inside me, I got feeling in my spirit that, me personally, that spirit I have inside of me is telling me that it's true. I don't have the features of the African people. There's something about African people that I don't like about them because they don't stand for nothing. Some people that are African, I don't like it. Quote unquote, I am African, quote unquote. I don't know who I am, but I have a feeling inside of the spirit that's telling me that Africans, they're disgusting, man. They don't stand for nothing. Don't stand for anything.
Okay.
Don't for anything.
I agree. Hamites are absolutely disgusting, right? Okay, now this. Now, when you called earlier, you asked about slavery, right?
Yes.
That's what I was at. That's the point I wanted to bring forward. You asked about you said that the Negroes, they're not the only people that went into slavery.
Correct.
Right? You said who else went into slavery?
The Nigerians as well went slavery.
And who else?
The Arabs, the Americans, the Hispanics. A lot of people went into slavery.
Okay, so does the Arabs going into slavery make them Hebrew Israelites?
No, it's not.
Okay, so does the Africans going into slavery make them Hebrew Israelites?
Not all of them.
Okay, what do you mean by not all of them?
Because the Africans that put Africans in slavery, they are not Hebrew Israelites. But the Africans who were in slavery, I believe that they are Hebrew because they've been through bondage, the suffering, and all the captivity.
But other people went into captivity, as you said. The Arabs did, right? So why aren't the Arabs Hebrew Israelites?
That's a good question. And the answer to that question is I don't know.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I'm gonna help you out, right?
Okay.
No problem. So now for those of you who didn't hear, right? Hugo, who said he's Nigerian, he says he understands that Africans sold Africans into slavery. But the Africans that sold Africans into slavery, those people who went into slavery are the Hebrew Israelites. However, he describes himself as a Nigerian. He doesn't call himself Negro. He does not, as far as his fathers know, they are Nigerian. You don't have any proof that your people are from Charles Taylor, right? Or from Garvey or anything like that, right?
No proof, no physical proof.
You don't have no physical proof. Do you have physical relatives that stayed in America when your family went to Africa?
Yes.
Tell me about that. Explain that to me.
I have family members who live in California, Georgia, Missouri, Texas, and Virginia who did not go back with the people who did go back. My father told me that was a time when after 1812 when it got abolished, that they got together and decided to go
when? Say that again. When what?
When slavery got abolished.
Mm-hmm.
When slavery got abolished in 1812. That
in 1812?
It's 1812, correct? Is it 1812? Am I wrong?
No, I think that's wrong. I think you off by a few years.
Okay. Well, around that time, when slavery got abolished, some stayed where they were at in Virginia, Texas, California, Georgia, and the older ones, and they took the younger ones as well. The older elders, so the younger ones who were like infants, like 2 or 3 years old, back to Nigeria.
Okay. Now, tell me this: what happened to your people when they went back to Nigeria?
I don't know exactly what happened, but I believe that I was told my father that they're still living there right now. I have some family. I have family right now in Nigeria as well. Still live there, but I don't know something at all because, like I said earlier.
Yeah, that's fine. What do you do with your family? I have family I don't talk to either, and they're my physical blood, and they're Hebrew Israelites. They descend from people who was on the slave ships, and I see them and I pass them directly straight. You get the point? So passing, not talking to your family ain't a criteria for nothing. You understand? That's just family issues, right? So now, you saying your family, quote unquote, or supposedly went back to Nigeria, and your father said, you all were in America first, went back, and now you're what, living good in Nigeria?
They're living back in their hometown, their tribe town, so I don't know how to live it up.
Okay, I understand. Okay, this is what I'm telling you. Now, once again, you don't have no proof that any of this is true, right? This is what your father told you.
Yes, that's what I was told my family members. Yes.
Okay. Okay, and how does the rest of your family identify? What do they call themselves? Nigerian?
I have family who were born here as well. I find themselves Black Americans, Negroes. But me, myself, I don't know who I am. So now I would say that my father, because I am my father's bar. So my father's Nigerian, my mother's Nigerian. He was born there. But for me, like I was saying, I feel like Africans in general don't stand for anything.
Okay, your feelings don't matter. Feelings absolutely do not matter. All right, I'm getting to the fact of the matter, right? You said you had family in Canada and I mean Chicago and wherever else. Is that family dashiki wearing Agbaza name
No, don't tell me out here this barbecue, playing necklace. That's who they are.
Okay, no sweat. All right. Well, listen. I'm gonna need more proof that your family left here in 1812 and went to Nigeria and settled in, being the descendants of people who they sold, and settled in fine, and then you mysteriously find yourself back in America later on, hundreds of years later. I would need more proof of that. You are African, right? You are the son of Ham. You haven't showed me any proof that you're the son of the people who went into slavery, right? Your family hasn't shown any proof of that. You understand? You would need proof to show this is who you are and your family is here and you have generations of proof saying that, yeah, we were slaves and then we left and we went back and then this one begat that one and that one begat that one and that one begat that one. You get the point?
No.
You understand? No. No African went into slavery. Absolutely not. Hebrew Israelites were sold into slavery. All right? And we are, say again?
You said no African went slavery, correct?
Absolutely zero.
Okay, so how about slave Africans who were sold by Africans into slavery?
Those are not Africans.
So who are they?
They are the Negroes.
So I'm a Negro then.
No, you're not. You're an African.
If the Africans sold, quote unquote, Africans or Negroes into slavery, and my ancestors were slaves, and therefore they were Negroes.
Okay, well, once again, you're not bringing forth proof that your ancestors were slaves.
Okay. Well, how can I find proof? Well, matter of fact, I have proof for you. I have proof. I saw documentation that says that Israelites and Igbos are brothers. King Erie, many claim that Igbos are the Jews of West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And they believe that they are descendants of at least one tribe of the lost tribes.
What? Say that last part again.
And it says that they believe.
They what? Wait, they what?
Okay, I see your point.
No. They what? No, say the word again. Just repeat it one more time.
They believe.
They believe.
So it's not 100% true or not. Okay.
Right. R. Kelly had a song saying, I believe I can fly. Does that mean I could go outside and flap my goddamn hands and glide across America?
Okay, you're right.
I know I'm right. There's absolutely no proof that you've given me that says you're descendants of slaves. Furthermore, Nigerians are known to be the biggest scammers in the world. I would not believe your father even if he was my father. Right? Your father is telling you that you are descendants of the Jews that went into slavery. He's lying if he can't give you proof. There's no proof of it. You understand?
Yeah.
Africans did not sell Africans into slavery. Africans sold Negroes into slavery. Right? Negroes fled into Africa. Somebody pull my Babylon to Timbuktu. Quickly. Let me get Babylon to Timbuktu. Let me get when Vespasian invaded Jerusalem. I also, hold on. Bear with me one. Bear with me one, Hebrews. All right. I also have an article here. Africans have apologized for slavery. Why won't the US? And we're going to see in here the proof that Africans are not Hebrew Israelites. Africans are absolutely not Negroes and will never be Negroes. All right? Galwan, give me what I want.
Okay. This is from Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa.
Fled where?
Fled into Africa.
Right. During the time of the Roman persecution, the Jews fled into Africa. Why did the Jews flee into Africa? Because the Jews are dark-skinned, just like the Africans. We went to hide amongst the Africans. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery.
Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. Go ahead.
The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
Even back then, the slave markets were full of Jews, of the slaves, not Africans. You get the point? We went into slavery. Africans did not. And now, this is just so I'm clear. There's slave trades going on all over the world. There's slave trades going on right now. There's the Libyan slave trade, right? Where them Arabs is selling the hell out of them Libyans. Them Libyans is Africans. They're not Hebrew Israelite. They're not the tribe of Judah, not the tribe of Benjamin, Levi, Issachar, nothing. They're Africans, and that's their goddamn problem, right? That's their problem to deal with them Arabs. The slave trade I'm speaking about is the transatlantic slave trade. That's the only slave trade that matters. That's the only slave trade that shaped the entire economy of the world. The transatlantic slave trade. Yeah, there's slavery going on in other parts of the world, but that ain't nothing. But the transatlantic slave trade molded the world's economy. It shaped it. It's the foundation of the world's economy. And Africans were not sold in the transatlantic slave trade. They never went into slavery. Nigerians never went into slavery. Ethiopians never went into slavery. Ghanaians never went into slavery. You understand? Right? You have the Hamites, who, that's the biblical name for the Africans. That's who they are. You get the point? That's who they are. And Hamites sold us into slavery. Now I'm going to read this article. This is for everybody here. Because everybody there's some people who think slavery is a requirement of the being a Hebrew Israelite. That's not it. It's a bloodline. It depends on who went into slavery. Africans did not go into slavery. All right? Now, so this listen to this clearly, all right? Africans have apologized for slavery. Why won't the US? This is an article that came out a couple of years ago. All right? It's dated 2000. No, it's dated 2014. All right? Let me see where I'm starting. Five years ago, this week, just months after President Barack Obama took office, the Senate unanimously passed a resolution apologizing for slavery. The Senate acknowledged the fundamental injustice, cruelty, brutality, and inhumanity of slavery and apologized to African Americans on behalf of the people of the United States for the wrongs committed against them and their ancestors who suffered slavery. Right? Now, it sounds like an apology, but this is what it really is. The House of Representatives had passed a similar measure the previous year, but Congress could not resolve the two apologies because of differing views on how the resolution would be used in discussions of reparations. Meaning this, the House of Representatives, they knew that if America apologized for slavery, that would mean admitting guilt. And if you admit guilt, now I have to make it right. Now I have to issue reparations. Now I have to pay back for slavery. And there's no monetary figure that can pay back for slavery. That's why Christ is going to kill these white devils. That's why Christ is going to slaughter the Africans and slaughter the Arabs, because there's no amount of money you can put for 400 years of rape, robbery, and murder. Building economies on our backs. Building economies on cotton and rum and sugar cane. While you Africans built up the west coast of Africa into the Gold Coast. While you Arabs swam in oil money. While the white man went to the moon. We were slaves crushed underfoot. There's no amount of money. And they understand the type of figures they're going to be talking about, so they didn't want to apologize for it. All right? So they never issued the official apology. Let me skip down. As it turns out, many West African nations, notice I said West African, because that's where the claim for I'm a Hebrew Israelite always comes from, West Africa, mainly because we were gathered in West Africa at one time because it was a port of sale. It was the closest place between where the slaves were in Africa to the Western Hemisphere. The western coast of Africa was huge points of slave trade, right? Many West African nations and tribes have issued apologies for their role in the transatlantic slave trade to Black Americans. And even specifically American individuals who've traced their ancestries. Well, of course, they believe in that DNA ancestry shit, which is BS. Because if you study the DNA ancestry, it would give you a hit based on you spending time in a certain location. So if you spend a few hundred years in Africa, it's going to say 80% of your DNA is Africa. If you spent years, hundreds of years before that in China, it's going to say 5% was in China. The strongest hits come from the places your people were most recently in. And what they're saying is the traits of those places is in your blood and your DNA through the food, through being there. It leaves like a footprint or a fingerprint in your system. So that's what the DNA is based on. So no bullshit, no shit, Einstein. Why most of the DNA results always trace us back to some West African country, because that's where the majority of the slaves were sold from. You get the point? Let me read on. In 1999, the president of Benin, a neighbor of Nigeria, apologized for his nation's role in slavery. In 2006, Ghana apologized to American descendants of slaves. A few months ago, a Cameroonian chieftain apologized to an African American who traced his lineage to a couple local tribes. Of course, the tracing is the DNA. The tracing is not my father, his father, his father, his father, going back to some plate in the Lip African in the Cameroon. You understand? Hold on. The reason for these apologies is the role that some West African tribes and clans played in trading away people from neighboring tribes that they captured in war or kidnapped. Now understand this. They like to make it seem like Africans sold Africans. As you read through the article, you have to pick up on the code words. The last few paragraphs actually tell you what was going on, and I'm going to get to it. But they're talking about one tribe going to war with another tribe, and then that tribe being sold into slavery, right? Though this may appear to have been Africans selling Africans into slavery, it was not that simple. And that's what the world makes you feel. That's what the whole Black Panther movie was based on. As many scholars have noted, calling all participants Africans presumes a unified identity among captors and captives that did not exist during the transatlantic slave trade. I'm going to read that again. As many scholars have noted, calling all participants African presumes a unified identity among captors and captives that did not exist. Meaning this, we are not Africans. Africans never sold Africans into slavery. If you assume that, you're very uninformed and ignorant of the whole situation. It was not that simple. First to begin, Africa is not a unified place. That's why he said, you assuming it's some unified all Africa something. That's not what was going on. Let me read some more. Hold on. Different tribes saw themselves as completely distinct and held no inherent loyalties to one another. Let me read that again. Different tribes saw themselves as completely distinct and held no inherent loyalties to one another. Meaning what? Let's say in America, you had the Aztecs, the Incas, the Mayans, different tribes. You had you have the Sioux, the Cherokee, the Blackfoot, this one, that one. They have beefs among themselves, but they know they are all the same people. And they know their common enemy is the white man. You understand? In this time, the tribes that we're talking about here, meaning the ones that were the captors and the ones that were the captives, they had no connection to each other except for sharing the same land. You understand? Let me keep reading. However, many West African nations now feel compassion. Hold on one second. However, many West African nations now feel compassion and sense of responsibility for the descendants of those taken from African soil. They recognize the atrocity and the complicity of some of their ancestors in allowing it to occur and have apologized without condition. Because Africans, them bastards know they sold us into slavery. They knew, y'all knew who you were selling. Your forefathers knew who you were selling into slavery. It was not a mistake. It was not by accident. It was not just, a civil war where you selling your neighbor's daughter or son into slavery. Africans sold the Jews into slavery. I'm not finished. Let me keep going. Hold on. Boy, where is it? Hold on. I lost the page. One second. Bear with me 1 second. Where's the page? Man, I might be missing a page. There's a page that's supposed to be part of this. Tell me, I probably lost the damn page where it talks about there was a distinction in culture, in their ways of life, in their laws, similar to what's written in Babylon to Timbuktu. All right, I'm gonna drop this here with the article. Let me get Babylon to Timbuktu. Galawan, you have it?
Okay.
All right, you know the page I'm talking about where they talk about the difference with the Hamites and how we were in Africa, we were thriving way more than the Africans.
Nah,
No sweat. Let me see if I find it for you. Hold on 1 second. Go to page 90.
All right. Come on. The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes. Slack it, that is it, right?
Yep.
Come on. The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes. They carried their culture, history, laws, and written records with them. They assured them a constant predecessor for the development of a higher social organization because of the stability of the black Jewish culture. The Jews were not absorbed into the
autochthonous population.
Autochthonous population.
Right? Meaning what? Our culture and our laws kept us separate from the Hamites, even though we were living there. So when now they talk about Africans selling Africans into slavery, that's not what happened. Africans knew who we were because we were a separate people from there. You understand? When Charles Taylor went to Liberia to set up that compound or territory for brothers here to go back when they was trying to push us back after the Garvey movement, you talk to anybody there, that's the civil war started in Liberia because Hamites was not getting along with Negroes. We were not mixing amongst them. You get the point? So now when you tell me your parents went back to Nigeria and was welcomed and was absorbed into the society, when history teaches us that Hamites ain't accepting us. Even right now, there's a group of people in Nigeria called Biafrans, right? Yeah. You know about that, right, Hugo?
Yeah, Biafra.
What's going on with Biafrans?
They're like militias, like wars, some people.
So, and what's happening now with the Biafran people?
People going on rampages, taking people in captivity. Matter of fact, right now, taking people, killing people's towns, taking their town, burning their towns down, kidnapping them, taking them to captivity right now.
Okay, so say that one more time.
So right now, the people in Biafra, they're actually militias. Like they're taking people's town, burning their towns down, kidnapping the people, killing parents, killing the youth. Like slavery right now, basically slavery.
So are you saying Biafra is a ruling class of people?
No, they're not. So
they're not a ruling class of people?
They're not.
But they are lower class of people that are what?
The ruler class that's destroying people, taking over.
Okay, so are they ruling or they are not ruling?
They are not ruling. Well, I mean, they are ruling. They are.
So Biafra is in charge of Nigeria?
No, they're not.
Okay, so make me understand. Are they ruling or are they not ruling?
They're not ruling.
But somehow, okay, so they're not ruling, but they are militia and they rage in war?
Yes, they're not ruling Nigeria, but they do have control over some parts of Nigeria. And they are taking control over some parts of Nigeria.
And what about the other parts that they don't have control over?
They don't have nothing to do with that. They're not ruling that part.
Okay, so who is suffering in the Nigerian and the Biafra war?
The Biafra people are suffering.
They're suffering, right?
No, the Biafra people are slaughtering people.
Okay, so the Biafrans are not being slaughtered?
No, they're not.
Okay, you are definite Nigerian because the Biafran people are being slaughtered by the Nigerians. You could go right now and pull up any video, go YouTube, check the news. Biafran people, anytime they catch one of them Biafrans, is absolute hell and horror. That's infighting in your own nation, amongst your people. Just like Eritrea separated from Ethiopia and made a separate place, and then now in southern Sudan, Biafra is, they Hamites, they separated from the Nigerian government, I think in the 60s or something like that, and they've had civil war ever since. And them Nigerians can't accept their own Nigerians. But you still want to tell me that your parents left here, went back to Nigeria, and nobody cut their head off? Nobody cut their hand off?
That's 100% right.
Say that again?
100% right. My parents went back to Nigeria and came back to the United States and did not hurt.
I need some proof of that, boy. I think you're trying to sneak in unawares. I need some proof of that. To me, with everything we done read here, you definitely equate to Nigeria. You definitely equate to Nigeria. And you went, your people went back at a time after slavery and was accepted in. Not even living separately. Your people just go ahead and mix back. The point I'm trying to make here is Africans is not Negroes. Negroes are not Africans. Africans never went into slavery. Africans do not suffer the curses that the children of Israel suffered. Africans do not do that. You get the point? Right? You gotta get some better proof than word of mouth. I ain't trusting no Nigerian with nothing. Number one scammers for every goddamn thing. You ain't gonna scam me out the truth. Yeah, you trying to get a seat in here when the children of slaves, the seats in here are built for. They're not built for Africans. They're not built for Nigerians. They're not built for the Igbo and the Yoruba and the Ashanti. They're not built for that. You go build Wakanda. That's what you need to do. Go get you and your family. You all need to go build Wakanda. You are an African.
Okay, listen, I didn't come here to disrespect you guys, man. I called you to get some information, but thank you for the information, though.
No sweat.
So if I'm not an Israelite, my forefathers did put people into bondage and slavery, the Negroes. So does that mean that I will be slaughtered, I will be killed and punished for my forefathers' decisions of doing that?
Drum roll. Yes.
Okay, so therefore, you're telling me that I can't. So basically, I cannot be saved by God, Jesus Christ.
How? How is that even happening?
I mean, if I follow his commandments, I follow the laws, I live by his ways, I can't be saved by Jesus Christ.
Okay, let me ask you this. Are there Mexicans right now are you familiar with the immigration situation in America, the Immigration Reform Act, DACA, the DREAM Act?
No.
You're not familiar with that at all?
No, I'm not.
I forget, you're Nigerian. That doesn't apply to you. That does not apply to you. Well, let me help you out, right? The DREAM Act was something put in place by the Obama administration, another African, saying that if certain families who were illegal, if they would sign up for the DREAM Act and enroll in the military, they would be granted permanent residency. They would be given an amnesty, a pardon, and they would be given citizenship eventually, right? Donald Trump, now since then, a lot of I.S.U.P.K, the tribe of I.S.U.P.K, the so-called Mexican, joined the U.S. military and went and fought for him and came back, and they're living as proud Americans, paying taxes, fighting wars for America, contributing in a meaningful way to society. Donald Trump came and pushed back DACA and started deporting brothers and, what's called this thing? With ICE, the immigration people, where they put them in the immigration camps, they arrest them, detain, started detaining the so-called Mexican, the tribe of I.S.U.P.K. Come to find out, a large percentage of the detainees are lawful, legal, tax-paying United States immigrants or permanent residents. They're not illegal. Did it matter that they were paying taxes, Hugo?
No, it did not.
Did it matter that they were obeying America's laws?
Okay, but America...
Did it matter that they will buckle their seatbelt every time they sat in their car? Did it matter?
No, but you can't compare America to God. That's the whole different. You can't compare God to America.
Why not?
Because God is almighty. It's like comparing God to God.
You're not almighty. So who is the almighty power on the earth right now? So why is faggots able to put a dress on and go pee in a little girl's bathroom if Christ is ruling the earth?
Because Christ will come back and he would rule the earth.
So Christ will come back, which means he's not here ruling the earth right now, correct?
He is ruling. I mean,
So who is ruling the earth right now, Hugo? The white man. So he is almighty. He is the almighty on the earth. He controls the earth. If he tells you to go, you go. If he tells you to stay, you stay. The white man runs the earth. He controls the earth. He is the almighty power on the earth. And he set up his kingdom, which is the most powerful kingdom on the earth. Right or wrong, Hugo? He set up his kingdom is the most powerful kingdom on the earth. I am going to mirror his kingdom to the kingdom of Christ, because this is the closest example to almighty power we have. When the white man is ruling, does it matter that Hispanics are obeying his laws? Hell no. When Christ ruled, does it matter that African obey his laws? Hell no. Does it matter that Ethiopian obey his laws? Hell no. Does it matter that a white man obeys his laws? Hell no. You're going to pay for a crime. The crime of the century is that you sold the children of Israel into slavery, all 12 tribes into slavery. And for hundreds of years, you did not give a damn while your people waxed rich, while your countries got guns and weapons and drugs, took our women and made harems out of them. While that was going on for hundreds of years, you waxed rich and did not wage war against the white man. You didn't even do it. You didn't even say, listen, let's go back for our people. No, you didn't do that because we're not the same. So guess what? Now that we are waking up and we know we're the real Jews, don't try to attach yourself to us now. Don't now try to do like in the book of Esther and become a Jew to save yourself from the destruction. The destruction is coming. And it's a good judgment. It's a righteous judgment. Your forefathers put my forefathers into slavery. Me and my sons are going to put you and your sons into slavery. That's justice. That's right.
Okay, so it's nothing I can do at all to become saved. Praise. What I have when we put bondage, suffering. A question. So I'll be punished for that. I do my woman get that, and I'll be punished for that.
Say that one more time.
So I'm saying that my forefathers made decisions to sell Negroes, put them in slavery and bondage, captivity for years and years and years. And me, I'm 19 years old, and I want to find who I am. And so therefore, I will be the one who's going to pay for their crimes.
Listen, that's how the white man have a phrase. He says that's how the cookie crumbles. You know what I mean? You ever take a chocolate chip cookie out the box, you bite one and it stay whole, and then you bite another one and it just fall apart in your hand? Do you go back to Chips Ahoy and say, hey, listen, I want my money back because this cookie broke and this one stayed whole?
You got a good point, though.
No, you don't do that, because that's the way the cookie crumbles. Your father did a crime. You inherited the profits of that crime. You got to pay for it. You're an accomplice at this point. You understand? You're an accomplice at this point. Our forefathers sinned against the Lord. We picked cotton because of it. Solomon sinned against the Lord. Solomon's son got punished because of it. Ham sinned against the Lord. Canaan got punished because of it. That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's it.
Okay, man. I mean, thank you, man. At least now I know. So my thing is though, so there's no way I can think about Christ though. Following his ways. If I help people out, I do his commandments. I live by his ways. You know, no morality, no fornication, nothing. I will still be put to bondage. Matter of fact, doesn't it say in the Bible that the only way for somebody to get saved is to bow down to the ground and to call his master? That's how you say it.
Listen, so it sounds like you offering a boot kiss. God damn. Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you something. There's no way Can you wake up tomorrow and become a dog?
No, you cannot.
So if you bark every day from now until 10 years, bark, har, 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 bark, you just barking, and you practice, you know, digging holes and chewing on bones, you know what I mean, and barking and wearing a dog color, could you become a dog?
No, impossible.
So how can you become a Hebrew? How can you become an Israelite? It's an absolute separate race of people.
Well, I didn't say Israelite. I said if you bow down your head to the earth, call your a Negro master, then the way you become saved by the Lord Jesus Christ.
Galawan, give me John 4:22. Quickly.
John chapter 4, verse 22. Ye worship, ye know not what.
Even if you bow down and call Jesus Christ's name every day, ye worship, ye know not what. You don't know what you're serving. Keep going.
We know what we worship.
Me and my brothers, we keep the Passover. Why? Because God killed Africans for it. And we happy because of it. And we keep it in the hope that Christ is going to come back and slaughter the white man one day. We know what we worship. Go ahead.
For salvation is of the... For salvation.
For what?
For salvation.
For what?
For salvation.
For salvation. Hugo, what is salvation?
I can't tell you exactly what it means, but I can tell you what it's like. I don't know definition.
Wait, hold on. Wait, you're asking me. You asking me if you serve Christ daily, could you get salvation? And you don't even know the fuck salvation is?
Salvation is being happy with him, being hurt, to being
Hugo, hang up, Park. Go get high. go buy a hose or something. God damn.
Look, I'm 19 years old.
Okay, Hugo, I understand. Many 19-year-olds were sold on slave ships too. There was 19-year-olds at the bottom of the slave ship with piss and shit and period blood flowing on them. I don't care about you being 19. I don't give a damn about that.
Okay,
what is salvation?
Salvation is following God's way.
No, salvation is the act of being saved.
Okay, thank you for now. I know what salvation is.
What do you have to be saved from, Nigerian?
From sin.
Sin ain't killing no Nigerian. Boko Haram is killing Nigerians. Biafra might be killing Nigerians. But sin ain't killing no Nigerian.
So selling Negroes is my right.
Say that again?
Selling the Negroes is not committed.
Your fathers committed sin, and you have to pay for it, right? You have to pay for it. Now, regardless, let's say you're the best person in the world. You ain't killing, you ain't robbing, you ain't shooting, you ain't doing nothing. Galawan read salvation what?
For salvation is of the Jews.
It's of who?
The Jews.
It's of who?
The Jews.
Let's say Nigerians.
The Jews.
Let's say Biafrans.
The Jews.
Let's say Ashanti.
The Jews.
Salvation is of the Jews. We need saving. We need saving from police brutality. I ain't see a cop pull over one Nigerian and blow his brains out. Not one. Not even a Ghanaian. I'll pull up a video right now where a police officer's pulled over Akon. You know who Akon is?
Yeah.
Who is Akon?
Akon is an artist.
Akon is an African who came and stole the culture of the Negroes, got rich, and did not put one solar panel on one goddamn project in America, but went back to his people and helped his people. That's who Akon is, an African.
That's true.
Police, that's true, full stop. Police officers pulled him over thinking he was black, saw it was Akon, asked him for an autograph, video called his police officer buddy and said, "You would not believe who I pulled over." Who? locked up Akon. And they shook his hand and took pictures with him. But a brother, you pull over a brother with his children in the back seat, who you African sold, he gets brains blown out in front of his kid. We need saving, not you. We need saving from this earth that hates us, that wants to see us dead and destroyed. It's clear. It's clear as they know. It's clear as day.
So what should I do now?
Shit. Go get high.
I don't do that, man. Honestly, I don't drink nothing.
Well, listen, I don't smoke, I don't drink either. But shit, go get high for me. I want to know what Molly feels like. Go pop a Molly and come tell me what it feels like.
Man, I'm looking for the Bible.
Listen, do whatever the hell you want to do. But one thing I can tell you, do some push-ups, do some running. Because slavery, Hugo, slavery is going to be rough. It's going to be rough, brother. It's going to be, listen, I don't know if you've ever seen a Negro in charge. It's rough. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. It's not going to be like the white man slavery. It's going to be rough. Absolutely rough. What can you do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're a Hamite. That's it. Blame your fathers. I can't do nothing about it. Now, let me ask you one question while I have you on the air, right?
Yeah.
That movie Black Panther, how did you feel about it?
I didn't see it. Honestly, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
I didn't watch it. I feel like it's not something that I have to go watch. It's not going to be proof.
I got you. I understand. No problem. All right, whatever. Wakanda forever. I'm done.
Last question. Right? Last question.
Uh-huh.
I was talking to somebody, the I.S.U.P.K member.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that it's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
He said it's not a 100%, but it's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
My spirit, he said my own spirit is telling me that like I don't feel like I'm African, but my ancestors are.
Okay.
So it's not my fault that it's not my fault.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
At the same time, someone gotta pay for it. But at the same time, I don't feel like it's me. I'm following God's commandments every single day.
Listen.
Watch God be one for heaven.
Listen. If my father dies tonight and the bill company tells me, well, your father owe me money, you had to pay for it. I don't feel I got to pay his bills either, but I got to pay them, right?
That's different though.
How is it different?
Because you are comparing God's word and God's power.
A bill?
In the world.
No. I'm making a comparison of a bill. If my father has bills, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's a car note, whatever, and he drops dead tonight, Lord forbid, let's say that, right?
Yep.
Tomorrow, the company calls me, hey, you his son. How are you going to take care of his bills? I'm going to be like, well, that's his bills, that ain't mine. They're going to say, well, you his son, you got to pay. I don't feel like I should pay it, but guess what? He was my daddy, and I'm going to pay his bills. Go figure out how you can pay your father's bills. Hugo.
How can I figure that out?
That's your problem. What the hell are you asking me for? I'm helping you. Go figure out how you could pay your father's bills, and I'm going to figure out how I could run a plantation. Damn, it's rough. Yeah, I understand. It's rough. I get the point.
I mean, I'm not. Look,
listen, Hugo, I had the rest of the class to teach how the scripture go. It is not meet for me to take the children's bread and give it unto the dogs. I appreciate the time, Hugo. Thank you for calling back. And I hope you set the record straight. Now, if in some off chance I am wrong, I am willing to say I am absolutely sorry in that day. I'm sorry I misguided you. You are a Hebrew Israelite. If in fact I am wrong, you're going to have to come and bring proof, and it's going to be approved by men over me. And I have nothing but to eat humble pie. How to say eat crow. But until then, go fit yourself for some slave shackles, because that's where you're going. All right? All right, no sweat. All right, good. Wakanda forever. Let's get back. Apocrypha. Let's see what Christ is coming back to do and slaughter and kill. You mean the Apocrypha? Let's go back to 2nd Ezra 13 and 32.
Khan. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen, which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man in their own land, every man in their own land leave the battle they have one against another.
Right? When the people see Christ appear, every man is going to leave the battle. They're going to stop fighting each other. That's how it's going to happen in World War III. Right? The Koreans going to stop fighting the Russians going to stop fighting America. America going to stop fighting, you know, North Korea, the China, everybody. They're going to leave the battle from fighting each other. Go ahead.
Verse 34, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting.
Right? And an innumerable multitude, read it again.
And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them.
Right? An innumerable multitude going to be gathered together as thou sawest them. As you've seen them fighting each other, they're going to gather together. And guess what they're going to gather to do? Are they going to gather to say sorry? Are them Africans going to gather together to say sorry for selling into slavery? Are they going to gather together to say, well, you know, we know you are our people. Sorry for selling into slavery? Hell no. Let's see what they're going to gather themselves to do.
Willing to come and to overcome him by fighting.
You see what that young African boy this is what he's going to do. This is what these white people are going to do. This is what these Asians are going to do. They are not sorry. They ain't sorry for nothing. When Christ returns, they're going to stop fighting each other and join forces to fight Yahushua. Because they know it is better to lose. A Chinese man knows it's better to lose a war to an African than to lose to this nigger. An East Indian knows I'd rather lose to these Chinese, these dog eaters, than lose to that nigger. Now you see the whole spirit of Black Panther. In Black Panther, everybody wanted Killmonger dead. Everybody. Everybody wanted him dead. Everywhere. Because that's the spirit of Christ. That's the spirit of a black man. That's why that movie is so goddamn evil. It's so evil. And we're not seeing the far reaches of it. We are not seeing it yet. As they're rolling it out in different countries, brother, they are assassinating the spirit of Christ and destroying the image of black men. They're going to try to overcome him by fighting. They are going to try to fight Yahushua. They're going to try to fight the chariots, fight everything. I believe it was is Reagan? Is it Reagan or Nixon? Which president was it that did the Star Wars initiative or the Star Wars program?
Salakia, sir. It's Reagan.
Reagan. It was Reagan?
I'm
gonna look for the tape and post it up, brother.
Star Wars.
Where Reagan, there's a tape of Reagan saying, what if one day we will, I'm paraphrasing it, of course, what if one day we were faced by a bigger enemy, one from outside this planet? How much now would our differences with each other mean nothing? We would have to join together to fight him. That's what Reagan said when they introduced the Star Wars program about, you know, putting missiles on the moon and all that shit. They know there's going to come a day they're going to have to fight somebody bigger and better than them. And thanks be to the Most High Power that that day is coming. Because if that day never comes, Nigerians going to come, wear fringes and a shield of David and tell you shalom and take your culture and then call you something else and enslave you. That's what that is. Anytime I see a heathen trying to become you, it's not flattery.
Right.
Right? It's not flattery. The white man have a saying, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Bullshit. You tried to be me so one day you could get rid of me, nigga. That's why. That's why you want us to come in here and figure out who you are and all that bullshit. If you ain't know you a nigga, then you're not a nigga. If you ain't bald in your face to get a job and bald in your head, then you know you're not that. You get the point? If you don't wake up, if you don't know, shit, I'm black. You telling me you Nigerian, you know you're Nigerian, you from Igbo, and man, listen, you a Hamite. You Ham, that's who you are. You understand? You're not a child of Israel. I'm not allowing you to take part in this covenant and sit in these holy chairs with these righteous descendants of slaves, with these people who the earth hates, the ground, the water, the air hates, despises Israelites. Think I'm gonna let you in here for what? Nigga, go learn to pick some goddamn cotton. Keep reading.
Verse 35, but he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men,
Go ahead.
being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands.
But Christ gonna win, and he gonna stand at the top of Mount Zion, and then all of Zion is gonna become, and it'll be shown, and we're gonna be like a city prepared, builded, because we're gonna be right in the spirit with Christ. We're gonna be rolling with him, and not with them heathens. Keep going.
Verse 37, and this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest.
You understand? So Galawan, your original question about the sun and the moon, the white man's inventions, his technology, his science, the things that make white people feel safe. You understand? White man hook up a security system with lasers and cameras everywhere, and he protected himself against what? A home invasion, right? What if the Lord open up the earth and swallow your house? Could you see that coming? What if the Lord cause an earthquake to open and swallow your house? Could you see that coming? No, you can't. You understand? The Lord is going, this my son, Christ is going to rebuke their wicked inventions. Brother, Christ is going to do something with the white man's military, with the Chinese man military, that's epic. And I pray to the Lord they catch it on film. I pray they have some drones filming all of it. Brother, the shit is going to be a sight to see. It's going to be a sight to see. You understand? The white man actually thinks he can fight the Lord.
Right.
He actually thinks he's preparing to fight the Lord. All his weapons are not for the Middle East. It's not all them rockets and tanks and planes that, planes that you can't detect it, is anti-radar, planes without pilots, planes that could disappear. They have some kind of, I forget what the scientific name for it. Some kind of material or paint or something they put on the plane. When light hits it, you don't really see it, right? It's some, I forget the damn science behind it. It cancels out some light something. So you don't really see the thing moving. You remember the movie Predator? How the original one, where he in the forest and he push a button and he kind of get like watery, right? Just think something like that. Not exactly like that. Don't nobody say, Mashak said they're building invisible planes. But he has ways that this thing could be right there and you ain't seeing it. It's in the cloud. It's, somewhere right there. It's flying above radar, or it's right there in the radar, but it ain't being picked up. You understand? He's doing all of this. And he has us feeling this is to fight who? The Arabs? People who ride camels and throw stones? An Arab who pick up every nail and every slug, every metal slug, every ball bearing, put it in a pot, fill it with, gas, and put some electrodes in it and tie a clock to it and bury that shit. And now that's an IED. That's his weapons. And you mean to tell me you make a stealth bomber to fight him? You have a missile on the moon to fight Putin? Nah. Their weapons is to fight Christ. Their weapons is to fight Christ. They test their weapons out in the Middle East. But every weapon formed right now is to fight Christ, the Most High and Christ. But of course, until Christ come, they're fighting for power. When Christ come, brother, he's going to rebuke their wicked inventions. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 38. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame. And he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto me.
Which is like unto fire.
Which like unto me.
No, fire. It looking like me. It looking like me. But it's which is like unto fire. Now, what is that talking about?
That shall lay before them their evil thoughts. That the evil devices that they've thought up and that they've devised shall be turned against themselves.
No, read it one more time.
And shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame.
Right? He shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they will begin to be tormented.
I don't know, sir.
So Salakia, what says trying to say is what they was thinking about doing to us and tormenting us, the Lord will put that same torment onto them, what they wanted to do to us.
You close. You close. You close. You super close. Anybody else? Anybody else want to try it? Anybody else want? What about you, Eddie? What you got to say?
So, Lucky, sir, is that talking about thermonuclear destruction?
Something else.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead,
I keep lagging.
Oh, it lagging with you? No sweat.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think that's talking about?
I don't know.
Say again.
I don't know, sir.
All right. Sister Sadi, all the evil thoughts they had will be done to them, and the weapons they had shall be used against them. It's kind of like that. Kind of like that. Let me help you all out. All right. Read the scripture one more time, Baba Kushal.
Khan. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented.
Right?
Which are like...
He will lay before them their evil thoughts. If I lay before you what you were thinking, what am I laying before you?
Salaki, you're exposing?
You're exposing them. So now, all right, you mightn't get it, Because once again, we can't understand sitting in a seat of power. Right? Imagine being in power and then you get your enemy and you laying before him all his evil thoughts and intentions. Describe what that is.
Salaka is like a court.
Say it again.
It's like a court.
It's like a court. Give him a hand, Salaka. God damn. It's court. Imagine you in charge. You ruling. And then some dirty white man stumble in the room, his hands tied like this, and a damn horse dragging him. And then he get up and he say, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Well, you can't fool me again." It's George Bush. It's Andrew Jackson. It's the African king who sold your forefathers. And Christ is sitting there. What's his crime? The angel of the Lord come out with a rap sheet, long like, the Eiffel Tower. In the 1940s, he was part of the conspiracy that knowingly infected 400 men with syphilis. Read the scripture again from the top.
And shall lay before them their thoughts.
Read it again. Come on, read it again from the top.
Verse 38. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts.
In the 1940s, you knowingly infected 600 black men with syphilis. Read it again.
And shall lay before them their evil thoughts.
Andrew Jackson, the Trail of Tears. Who's this man? Who's him? He's Andrew Jackson, Sir Adawan. What does he do? Well, when they were moving native Indians from the south to the north, he is the man responsible for the Trail of Tears. He later on went on to be the president of America. What is the Trail of Tears? Well, when they were slowing up the lines, he would take the pregnant women or the woman who just gave birth, he would take their brand new nursing babies and bash their heads against the tree by holding their feet so that they don't slow the line up no more. He did what? Read the scripture.
And shall lay before them their evil thoughts.
Who is this man? Benjamin Netanyahu. Who is he? He's the president of Israel right now. Then the whole room gonna burst out laughing. All the angels gonna start laughing. The president of Israel, what's that? Well, he inherited the land, a piece of the land that America gave to him. In other words, they stole our identity.
Right.
We're gonna lay open all the evil. They're going to answer for everything.
Right.
The day of judgment, brother, is court. Read the scripture one more time.
And shall lay before them their evil thoughts.
Keep going.
And the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented.
What is that part talking about?
Salakia, and the things that they were, and the abominable torments that they would have done to us, they will begin to be tormented with.
Meaning, as you lay open what they were thinking about, you in court, you reading out their rap sheet. Now, for those of us who've been to court, after you've been charged, you've been, you here today, you're gonna be charged for such and such crime, right?
Right.
What happens after you get charged?
Salaki, you get your judgment.
You get what?
Your judgment.
Read the last part again.
And the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented.
And their torments which they shall begin to be tormented. Oh, no problem. He infected 600 black men with syphilis. All right, no sweat. Cut his legs off and make him pick cotton. No sweat.
God,
he dashed babies' heads open. Where's his children? And you're going to see that devil fall to his knees and beg and cry. Fall to his knees and beg and, oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm sorry. Bring his children in. And somebody going to bring his children in. And they're going to face their judgment. Get the point? That's the day of law. That's where all the knowledge and wisdom going to be put to shame. Because a greater power is coming. You understand? A greater power is coming. You all get the point?
Come.
No sweat. I don't know how these Edomites find themselves in the Facebook, but I pray Christ enslave all of you all. I'm just responding to a few of them. This is not the symbol of Zionism or the Illuminati or, you know. Stop dealing with fairy tales. That's the thing. White people's life is about fairy tales. That's why they love Thor and the movie 300 and, you know, Peter Pan and shit. Our life is about real things. This is the seal or the shield of David. This is David's signature in Hebrew minus the wa. It's called Dawada. It's not the Illuminati symbol or the what is that, the Zionist thing. What you need to understand is what the end of a whip from a black man feels like. All the way from Brisbane, Australia. What's up, mate? And everywhere else. I don't know how the hell these devils be finding us, but they do find us somewhere. They do find us somewhere. But this here is the symbol of your future slave masters. Once we get these blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to obey God, Christ is going to enslave you and your family. And there's going to be no questions about it. And there's going to be no pleading in that day. You're going into slavery for what you and your people did to me and my people. And that's justice. And that's right and righteous. Somebody else asks, what color is Christ? I believe it's a brother. I think he had a Puerto Rican flag up. Bear with me one.
And I'm still here.
Go ahead.
When you all was talking about Ronald Reagan, right now, presently, it has rockets and, well, missiles on the moon.
Yeah.
Like, it has.
Hold on. Let me find it. I think they call it the ICBM missile, if I'm not mistaken, intercontinental ballistic missile.
Khan.
Right? I believe that's what they call it. Well, everybody has ICBM missiles. Hold on. I think everybody has an ICBM missile, right? That's usually the nuclear warhead.
Khan.
Hold on. You might have to look it up. But they have a defense missile on the moon that has, this is what they said. They said it has, it can detect when a nuclear warhead is fired off, and it's meant to be a countermeasure to a nuclear missile. There's a meaning like if a nuclear warhead is fired off, this missile from the moon will fire off and do something. Right? I don't know how they're going to do it. That's their excuse. I don't believe it's for that. It's put there to fight your house shot. You get the point? They put there to fight your house shot. I don't know if you know, they're living on the moon. There's condos on the moon. There's, you know, structures on the moon. They're living in space. They have a space station. And the white man fully ready to leave this planet. You get the point? He's fully ready to leave without remorse, without any confusion. He's fully ready to leave. Right? I ain't seen the guy who asked the color of Christ, but Christ is a black man. Just look up Revelations 1:1 through 15, or 1:1, 13 and verse 13, 14, 15. You're gonna find the color of Christ. You know, he's a black man. He's a Negro from the tribe of Judah. All right.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
Did you see the speech that Trump gave about NASA and going back into space and going to Mars?
What he said?
He said that he's fully backing NASA as far as getting the space program back together so they can go out and explore further.
Yeah, because of course he really want to move. They want to move over there because that's what they do. Because they are virus. Once they finish one, sucking one place, they move to the next. Like they came on the East Coast and then moved to the West Coast. It's just it's blood sucking. This white man, he's a vagabond. He's a culture bandit. He doesn't have a home, so he just goes wherever there's space and makes his own, even if it belongs to somebody else. That's him. That's who he is. You understand?
All
right, so we good to go, Kalawan? You fully understand?
All
right, no sweat. All right, right up on the time. I think we're going to end it there. Any more questions quickly before we roll? Sure, good to go. I don't know how these devils make it in here, man. Who leaving the door open, man? Somebody is leaving the door open for these devils, brother. I ain't never seen so much devils come in here and posting scripture. I damn near want to continue the class to deal with the nutty behind. You understand? But I ain't one of them type racist much. Like it ain't racist when cops blowing our heads off. It ain't racist when they're lynching brothers. But I'm teaching people to obey God's law so Christ could enslave their mommy and their daddy, but I'm racist.
Right.
It's absolutely insane. The white man is the devil, the Bible speaks of. With that, shalom. Yahweh Bashem Yashai Brakatham. Yashemata Bashem Yashai Passover. March 30th, sundown. Make sure you all there. We gearing up, roll up in there, get up in the Passover. The next night, March 31st, is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Right, March 31st at the Hyatt Place. Y'all check your camp leaders for information. We're gonna be keeping the feast right there in New York of unleavened bread, 1 week, eating food with no leaven in it. I believe that's it. This weekend, Jeremiah Hyman gonna be down here in DC, rocking it out in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. All hands on deck. You all come check it out. All right. With that, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, man. Shimon Shabbat.
Shabbat. Yashma Shabbat. Yashai.
Shabbat.